What's happening, everybody? I hope you're well today, tonight, whatever it is for you. Hope you're doing great. I woke up this morning with some negative feelings, some negative thoughts, and it inspired me to want to talk about mental and emotional health and how it affects our physical health. You ever do that? You ever wake up and here comes the negative thinking? It's automatically first thing in the morning, and you're thinking about all the stressors in life, thinking about bills, and you're thinking about whatever those blood tests showed at the clinic, or you're thinking about your relationship. Maybe yesterday wasn't a good day, or a good evening with your spouse or your friend or a family member, and maybe you said something that was hurtful and now you feel regretful. It could be a lot of things, right? It could be a lot of things that cause that negative thinking, those stressors. Sometimes everything can go wrong all at once. I've talked to people who they lost their job, they're going through divorce, and they have a cancer diagnosis. And I'm not kidding. Like, I've met more than one person who's told me that the whole world is falling down around them. From their perspective, it certainly looks that way, and it feels that way. And so it's really normal to have the negative thoughts, the negative feelings. What can we do about it, right? Hopefully most of us aren't dealing with all of those things all at once. Hopefully the negative thoughts that we're experiencing are just bills. We need more money. How are we gonna pay the rent next month, or the electric bill, or how are we gonna keep buying food and hold everything together, especially if we have people relying on us. Maybe we do have some health issues. Maybe we're not going through a divorce, but our relationship is taking a hit. Need some care, need some attention. There's just so many things, right, that we can focus on that can cause that negative thinking. And so, the negative thinking can actually cause physical health issues, right? There's a book called The Body Keeps the Score, referencing trauma and how trauma can affect us. How trauma, when not dealt with, when not considered proactively, it can manifest various health issues. So, and it's the same with just daily worry. If we're worried all the time with negative thinking, a lot of the proactive steps through our day to keep us healthy, hydration and nutrition and exercise, even sleep, we're doing all these things and we're not getting the progress that we would like. That can come down to not controlling our thoughts, our emotions, our feelings. So a practice that I've tried to keep in my life over the years is gratitude. And I was listening to someone recently talk about their morning routine and how they message 3 people every morning, and just a text message, just to thank them for something that they've done for them, or just to convey appreciation for the way that they've come through at some point in their life. And not only do I think that's a great idea, but it doesn't have to be somebody. Maybe you don't have 3 people that you can text every morning. to thank for something. But what we can do, what I do, is just, when the negative thoughts come, I remind myself that I do have a lot of things to be grateful for. For the most part, my health is good, and I do have shelter. I do have a place to sleep at night, and I have food, and I even have people who care about me. So if I just remember that first thing every day and keep that going through the day, because I have to remind myself through the day that there's a lot to be grateful for. This helps me tremendously to counteract the negative thoughts, these negative feelings that cause that constant worry, that anxiety. Ultimately, the things we worry about most of the time are things we can't control, or at least to some degree, right? It's different for all of us, but when we just remember that we have a lot to be grateful for, and we remind ourselves that we're not going to worry about things, first of all, that we can't control, then we can focus on the things we can control. I like to write down a list of all the things that need to be done in my life so that I don't have to worry about them anymore. Starting with the biggest thing that's plaguing me, right? That might be scheduling an appointment to the dentist. You need to get in there and get some work done. You need a root canal or a veneer, that, and that's, that example is one that's really relevant, because if we don't have good oral health, not only does that affect our whole body, it's holistic, but maybe it's our front teeth, and we won't have a pretty smile, right? If we don't feel confident about smiling in public, then that's going to cause anxiety and worry all the time, right? So regardless of what it is, writing down a list and tackling one thing at a time can really help, and just being grateful. One other thing is, I have to choose to be happy every day, and sometimes like 329 times in a day. I have to tell myself, I'm happy, and life is amazing and beautiful, and I'm really just grateful to experience it, to be living. I'm just grateful, and the more positive that I can be, the more I can help others feel better, right? If my attitude is good, then whoever I come in contact with, hopefully, if they're having some negative thoughts, negative feelings, then I can help them with that, right? There's something called the trigger effect, where we affect each other. Excuse me. We affect each other, and that's for good or bad. That's for positive or negative. If somebody offends me at the grocery store, I can choose to be in a bad mood, and I can choose to offend the next person that I come in contact with. Maybe it just means I'm not going to smile. I'm not going to smile at the next person who could really use a smile because somebody slighted me. These are powerful things, right? It's powerful. Energy is powerful. Positive energy and negative energy. And we need positive energy to thrive, for our health to thrive. The more negative energy we feel, the more our health suffers. It's There's no neutrality there. We're either going to choose to feel better and do what we can to feel better so that we can improve our health and so that we can improve the life and health of others, or we're going to suffer. We are choosing to suffer by not working on ourselves, by not practicing gratitude, by not taking care of the things that are plaguing us, by not choosing to be happy. We're choosing to suffer. And there's enough suffering in life. Like, the world's really difficult. So we don't want to add any insult to injury, right? We don't want to make it worse for ourselves. We want to love ourselves. And we don't want to make it worse for anybody else. We want to love each other. So I just want to share that today. I woke up feeling negative. I woke up with negative thoughts. And I had to proactively shift that thinking from negative to positive, so that I feel better and I can help those around me to feel better. Again, my name is Judah. I'm a NTP, that's a nutritional therapy practitioner. And I'm here for you. If you need anything, please leave me a comment below. Ask me a question. Tell me about a subject that you'd like to hear about. I'm grateful that you're here, and I hope you can be grateful for what you have. And I'm sorry if you're really struggling, and I hope you can help someone else. Please help yourself and help someone else. You take good care out there. I'll see you in the next one.